Emma and Egor is a supplemental sign language curriculum that Compton Children's Academy has been using for the last 7 months that literally teaches the teachers how to teach the students. And it is something that I have never seen in the 15+ years that I have been working in childcare.
When my daughter was diagnosed hearing impaired 23 years ago, I was a single mom. She was 17 months old, and all of a sudden I'm faced with the challenge of your daughter is hearing impaired, severely profound hearing impaired. She is going to grow up, with a new language, with a language that you have never been introduced to. And so it was terrifying. It was frustrating because I was already 17 months behind the 8 ball on teaching my child how to communicate. The only teaching tool I had was a dictionary that has 350 pages of thousands of signs and a 17-month-old with a 3-second attention span. Originally, when I created this curriculum, I didn't want any other families to have the fear, the frustration that I had teaching my own child to communicate. We literally cut a dictionary apart. When I had to teach my child sign language, we cut a dictionary apart and I posted pictures on every window, lamp, couch, book, anything that I had a picture of or a sign of. We walked around the house so that I could easily communicate with her. And the problem was I could communicate with her and my daughter could communicate with her, but the outside world could not. And I knew that through the progression of trying to teach children, families, mothers, grandmothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, this curriculum, that it had to be easy and it had to be fun and it had to be something that my child would sit and want to learn from. Sign language develops an area of the brain that most children, 0 to 5, never tap into. Young children are kind of flighty. They move, they learn, they experience, they touch, they go. So when they're doing sign language, they're moving, they're engaging, they're using their social, their visual skills, they're using their gross motor, their fine motor, they're using just all of this cognitive developmental skills that really go underdeveloped in 90% of hearing children. Why? Because they don't need to use the visual skills. And so therefore, their physical skills go crazy because they just want to move. And it's very hard to teach. So this way you're teaching them the cognitive, visual, and developing an area of their brain that literally lasts them a lifetime. The skills that these children are developing in this program from 0 to 5 don't end at 5. They don't end when they go to kindergarten, and their sign language may cease at that point. But the skills and the brain development that they have achieved lasts forever. This curriculum benefits children with ADD, ADHD, learning delays. We have so many families that are struggling with how to communicate with their autistic child.
7 months ago, we put it into our program, into Compton Children's Academy program. And within a very short period of time, I would say probably 2 weeks, my teachers were signing. The most exciting thing to me is that it was self-directed. 7 months later, my toddlers know 20+ words. The toddler and 2-year-old rooms barely have any biting in it. The children are speaking and communicating in a very different way. I've been doing this for 15+ years, and I've never in my life have seen where my toddler room was at 95% without biting. What this curriculum does is give children an outlet to speak in a way that they can't do, even in the infants and toddler room.
I was excited about the curriculum because in a lot of schools, I've worked in the field for 10 years at different schools, and everyone says they teach sign language. What they're actually teaching is a series of vocabulary words. They'll teach please, more, thank you, and maybe a few more words, but nothing actually develops past that. When I saw the books and the curriculum, it's signing exact English. So there's a word for every English word. So there's the word is in there, and the, and it goes in the entire sentence. So if I hand that book to a teacher and ask them to read it, they can sign all the words, and that's teaching them the actual language rather than just vocabulary words. And that was exciting to see a classroom be able to actually do that, because I've yet to see it.
The teachers have been able to take this full-heartedly, and they know the curriculum, they know the books, they understand it.
I'm passionate about Emma and Egor because it works. It's a simple answer, but it's the truth. So many times I've gone into classrooms and talked to teachers because my director says, I want this in a classroom. So I'll go to the teacher and tell them that's something we want to add, and it's almost like a chore to them. They're not happy when I tell them. They're like, oh, it's something else I have to add. When I go and show them the Emma and Egor curriculum, and I show them how easy the books are to follow and how easy it is to naturally implement it into your classroom, it's almost like a sign of relief they have. They go, oh, I can do that. And when you have a teacher that is calm and feels confident when they look at it, that they can go, oh, I can implement that into everyday life, then they do it. When it's something that's scary and overwhelming, they won't do it the way it's supposed to be done. And that's why I think this curriculum is so successful in this building, and I think it will do amazing things for everyone else.
I find it easy to understand as a teacher, and to be able to implement it to the kids. And it's also fun.
Children are visual. They don't need to be in front of a TV or a video camera learning something. They want that connection. They want that interaction. They need it. And what Emma and Egor does is that it allows the teacher to be able to teach in a very organic way. We're using it for everything that we do so that it becomes second nature to them. And the reason why we can do that is because this curriculum, the Emma and Egor curriculum, teaches teachers how to use it in a very flawless way. The best way to teach children is without them even knowing that they're learning. Of course, you want them to have fun. What's fun for them is that they are able to communicate in a different way and be able to get what they want without really getting upset or feeling frustrated. Children have a want and a need to be expressive, and that's what Emma and Egor gives them.
They were doing our signature item, the Can You Help Emma Find? And that's a poster that they put on the wall, and then they have the cards of colors, numbers, ABCs, and the teacher would sign without saying a word. And now when she started this particular tutorial or this teaching tool, she would have to say, can you help Emma find the blue circle? And she'd use her voice. But then as she progressed in her skills and the children progressed with her, she would say, and the little boy would jump up from the table and he'd run over and he'd find the blue circle and he'd place it on the Emma and Egor board. And I think that literally brought tears to my eyes. What I found most enlightening when I watched that video was not only that she was able to progress from verbal to strictly sign, was that this little boy who's 3 years old, who has endless energy, was completely engaged in the task. And then he jumped up, super excited, ran over, got his tag, knew exactly what he was getting, got his blue circle and put it on the wall, and was completely satisfied with himself, proud of himself, and the teacher's praise and her ability to help him obtain that skill was fascinating to me. I just never imagined what this program really could do until we implemented it in Compton's Children's Academy 7 months ago.
So in our pre-K classroom, we have a calendar that they can use, and every circle time they will start off the day. What day of the week is it? Is it hot outside, cold outside? What do you like to do today? And they can implement a calendar, and on the calendar it has, instead of just the number 2 written, you can put up the sign for number 2. Instead of just a picture of a sun, we can put up the sign for sun or warm or cold for them to use. So they can use those there, and they're expanding on their vocabulary and knowledge even more so than just basic shapes and colors and sounds.
There's one that it's, as he's learning to verbally communicate, he's also learning to sign. And I have so many moments where the child comes up to me and he tries to say something, and I'm like, what is it? And he tries to point at something, and I'm like, can you say it again? And he's able to say, outside. When he wants to go outside, he comes up to me and he goes, and I'm like, what is it? Can you use your words? Can you tell me? And then, of course, sometimes they might not be able to say a whole sentence, but then he looks at me and he goes, outside. This same child, he came up to me the other day. I was sitting with them. We were singing songs, and I said, "What song would you guys like to sing?" And he came up to me and he said, "Amos." I said, "Say it again." And he repeated it, but I wasn't able to understand. And he looked at me and he said, "Amos means animals, the animal song." So it was pretty cool.
In the baby room, for example, there was a baby that was crying, and he wouldn't stop crying. And I gave him hugs and I gave him kisses, and his teacher was talking to him, and he was getting very frustrated. He's about 11 months old. He's walking around crying and hitting his leg, and the teacher just stopped what she was doing and got down with him and held him and said, "What do you want, honey?" And she had to ask it a couple times, and he just started moving his hand, and not towards her. You could just see his hand moving, and she saw it and she said, "Milk? You want your baba now?" And it was early for him, so she wasn't even guessing that. She went in the fridge and showed it to him, and all of a sudden he calmed down, and he went and laid with me on a pillow and wanted to snuggle and drink his milk. And having that communication at 11 months old is so beneficial to keep a classroom calm and keep parents calm and keep kids and teachers happy.
When we're learning the colors, I'm able, to show them a color, and I'm like, "Do you know what color this is?" And sometimes they look at me and they don't know what to say, and I'm like, without saying the word, I sign to them, and they're like, orange, red, blue. Like once they're able to see, the sign, they connect to the word.
In our toddler classroom, you can see that they are really picking up on it. So whenever they have lunch or mealtime, there's a little boy named Hunter, and he waits until it's his turn to serve himself, and he practices serving himself, and he takes a bite of the food, and he loves to report if this is hot or cold food. And so he'll take a bite, he puts it down, hot, hot, hot. And everyone gets all excited, like, "Oh, you're eating hot spaghetti? Is that what you're eating? You're eating hot spaghetti?" And he smiles and lights up and tells everyone, "It's hot, it's hot." And then he likes requesting his own drink now because he knows both milk and water. So he'll have his cup sitting there and he'll look and he'll, "Ali, Ali, Ali," and do milk because he likes to be in control of what he's having because he now has that verbal skill because of the sign language to ask for those things. Our teachers in our 3-year-old classroom might be sitting down to do a lesson about numbers and have all these different counting materials. And now she's doing the lesson normally, she might then ask, "Can you find 3 pine cones?" And since she's just naturally using the signs, the kids pick up on it very easily, and they then understand what the word means because it's just part of their everyday routine. In our pre-K classroom, we'll have kids that can't quite recognize all the letters. They know it, it's on the tip of their tongue, but they can't say the letter. But you ask the child, I asked a student last year, "Can you spell your name in sign language?" "Oh yeah, Tucker." I was like, "I didn't even teach you that. How did you know?" But it's because they sign the alphabet every morning. Every morning could sign it. And so that song, along with that hand movement, almost becomes a finger play. It's a game to them. So he naturally picked it up, and he just knew how to do it.
Not only the organization, but also, the fact that they're able to sit and look at me as a teacher, and when I'm signing, like, "Are you ready to eat?" or "Are you ready for lunch?" They sit and look at me and they're like, "Yes, yes." They're able to communicate when they want more, or if they're all done, or what is it that they want. Like if they want more milk, they say more milk, or if they're done with their food, they're like, "All done, all done." I have a child who once she wants food, she looks at me and she goes, "Mama, more bread. Like she's able to tell me what she wants.
In our pre-K classroom last year, they just graduated and went on to kindergarten. There was a little boy who has hyperactivity issues, aggression, but when the teacher would start to sign, he would start signing. He might start doing flips still and still be pushing a little bit, but he would sit there and start signing the alphabet with them. And then he would calm down a little bit. And it was very rewarding to see, because then the confidence in the teacher came, where before she was frustrated and trying to teach this child. Now she figured out a way to help this child get through a lesson. Maybe he just needs to sign while he's doing it, do something visual, do something with his hands, because he can't sit still. And it was emotional for me to see it, because it was my son.
I've been doing this for 15 plus years, and I've never in my life have seen where my toddler room was at 95% without biting, even at times 100% without biting. And it's because I believe that what this curriculum does is give children an outlet to speak in a way that they can't do, even in the infants and toddler room.
Our children aren't laying on the floor trying to express themselves anymore. They're able to go to the teacher and express how they feel and express what they want, and they're not physically communicating in a negative way.
So this curriculum has helped all of my kids develop not only a new skill, which is signing, but also communication wise. They've developed so much in communicating to each other and to me as their teacher.
I know that my parents are very happy with the curriculum. I know that when you walk into Compton Children's Academy, there is a different air because of this curriculum.
The parents are excited. We have kids who go home and are singing a song and signing along with it, and the parents are almost shocked. They're like, I didn't know you could do all that. Where did you learn it? And they come in the next day and they go, did you know that so-and-so can sign all their colors? They can sign their shapes? Did you know they were signing a song? And we smile and yes, that's what we do in the classroom. They can do it. They can ask for things.
They're very excited about their kids learning and their kids trying to communicate to them in sign language when they're at home. I have some parents that come to me and tell me that Ellie, for example, during the weekend she was signing horse or cows, since on Friday we were just learning about animals. And the parents are very not only happy, but they're also excited to also be learning with the kids.
When the curriculum was developed, it was important that we made sure it was foolproof. So we wanted a director or educational specialist to open this box and pull out these books and open them and go, oh, I can do this. And then say, well, how can I use it in my classroom? How can I use it in a lesson plan? And pull out this simple teaching guide and look through, and there's examples right there on where you could put it in a classroom, where you could add it to a lesson plan, how you could incorporate the games throughout the day. And by having something like that, I feel like it'll create confidence in a classroom, in a teacher, and in a director of any school that has this program.
In the Emma and Egor Educational Curriculum Kit, we have 12 books. With those 12 books, we'll have up to 50 interactive games and teaching tutorials for the teacher to teach the children.
It's kind of surprising, but then at the same time it's not, but how easy it is the kids can pick up on it. So I know kids are sponges. That's my job to know that. So I knew they would pick up on it. But the excitement they have when they're doing it, they don't even know they're learning, that makes it fun and exciting. I can put out the games and say, oh, we're gonna play a find it game. And I'm telling them in sign language, can you find the red circle? And they kids get so excited because I wasn't talking, I just signed it to them and they light up, oh, I know what Miss Amanda said, and they point it out right away. And when I'm doing that with them, I get excited, the kids get excited, the teachers in the classroom with me get excited, and it makes the teachers want to keep doing it and the kids want to keep doing it.
As a teacher, I'm so excited to see my kids learn and develop this new skill sets, you know. It's definitely rewarding to see when they're able to communicate with you, you know, something that they weren't able to do a few weeks ago, a few months ago, but they're now doing it.
I finally found something that actually works. It's incredible.